Siyabonga, Secretary General of PUDEMO, Comrade Wandile, for that detailed and comprehensive statement on behalf of the leadership of PUDEMO. In the interest of time, we are going to move swiftly to questions from media representatives that are amongst us here. But also let me take this opportunity to introduce the presence of the SWAYOCO President, Comrade Sonke Dube. He will also be available for any questions and clarity-seeking questions that you might have. So can I now take this opportunity to note hands? And just please go ahead and tell us where you're from and pose the question. I see Peter has got his hand up. I suppose, I'm assuming it's a he. So please go ahead, Peter, and pose your question.
Yeah, thanks very much. This is Peter Fabricius from Daily Maverick. I have two questions for Mr. Ludlow, I would imagine. The one is, so 2 of the 3 dissident MPs apparently were arrested. Why not the 3rd? Why not MP Similani? What does that tell us about the government strategy, or was it just because he was not available, so to speak, out of the country perhaps? The other one I wanted to ask you about is on that score. You know, in his Sabaya speech last week before last, King Mswati seemed to be quite adopting a fairly indulgent attitude towards those MPs. I mean, he blamed his own government and his acting prime minister for the way that they banned the delivery of petitions at the Tunkundla at the constituency offices, and said something along the lines of, this is, you know, those deliveries were actions within the framework of democracy as he understands it. Why then do you think they would then go on to arrest MPs, having, you know, the king having said that? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that input, Peter. I see Mthobisi has got his hand up. Mthobisi, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mthobisi Mkhalifi from the SABC in South Africa. I heard you, Secretary, talking about the issue of shutting down the borders. Is it the final decision that you've made that at some point you will close the borders? If so, when are you going to do that? And also, what are you hoping to achieve with that exactly? And also, at the moment, just a matter of clarity on the issue of MPs that are supporting or that are also pro-democracy. How many are they? And to both the SWAYOCO and you, Secretary, if you can just talk to us regarding the arrest of the 2 MPs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mthobisi. Perhaps let us start with those questions, and we will then go to the second round. Let me ask the president of SWAYOCO, Comrade Sonke, to respond to the question posed, and then ask the SG to respond to all the question. Let me start with you, Comrade Sonke.
Comrade Mildos, can you please allow SG to continue, because the president is on another meeting. So I was thinking maybe when he comes back, then I'll just alert you, and then he comes and join.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you very much. SG, please do continue.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Comrade Peter from Daily Maverick. Actually, it was a slip of or it just missed me to update on the arrests. They are appearing in the High Court under the High Court in Babane. 2 of them have been arrested. MP Mthandeni Dube from Mankaya and Ongondisani in the east, as well as MP Bassett Mabuza, or Baqede Mabuza from Hosea in the south. We know that a warrant of arrest has also been an issue on MP Makaukau Smelane of Sipofame of they wanted these MPs for quite a while. We think and condemn this kind of behavior. These are MPs who are using their constitutional rights as well as right as MPs to engage on any matter that they deem is of national interest. But we are not surprised that His Majesty would go for MPs in the manner he did. Is very much in line with the history and the history of this system. Very interestingly, in 1972, when there were to be the third elections in South Democratic, the only three democratic elections that ever happened, the NNLC won 3 seats from the Eastern region, which were mainly candidates from the NNLC, which was Ambrose Zwane, Makecha Masilela. I can't remember the third one. That was enough opposition in a 28-member parliament for His Majesty then Sopusa to illegally and unprocedurally abrogate the 1968 constitution, to say in the process introduced the 12 April 1973 decree. So deja vu, history reads itself very interestingly. And as PUDEMO are very clear, and we've been saying this, that Kingundla and the Royal House do not want to be challenged. They don't want anyone who does not belong to their royal and business, local and international cabal to speak politics. Because politics in Swaziland is and should, according to the monarchy, remain the preserve of the monarchy and its close business associate, not Swazis. The duty of Swazis is to work on the economy so that the monarchy can then use the economy for their own pleasure and leisure. So the MPs are basically joining those of us who for years have been butchered, arrested, and killed for their challenging the right of Swazis to determine the future of their children and the destiny of the country. So that is our understanding. On the second question, on ban on deliveries, why were deliveries banned? Interestingly, the king, on one hand, tries to appear to be having a constitution with a Bill of Rights, but reality always hits home that in Swaziland, you are not supposed to engage in peaceful protest and challenge His Majesty. It's exactly for that reason we saw the acting prime minister illegally and unprocedurally coming to say, from here on, no one must deliver petitions to constituencies, which honestly, in terms of law and just basic logic, didn't make sense. But because His Majesty doesn't want it, the government had to go and effect a ban. And of course, the Swazis are sick and tired. They went on and defied. And of course, it has led to more than 75 people who have lost their lives. It has led to more than 238 it has led to about 248 people who have been injured, for which 32 of them have been amputated. It has led to more than 600 people languishing in jail, 20 of them arrested in the last 48 hours, as we have updated you earlier on. On the question on SABC, Comrade Mtobi Simkhalipi, yes, we are working. We said, as I hinted earlier on, my brother, that in our view, our struggle must hit where it met. What makes Mswati to continue to be arrogant to Swazis and arrogant to anyone who dare try to drum sense. We had His Majesty King Letsia of Lesotho, who came in, sent by other leaders in the region, trying to persuade the king. And we have learned through our grapevines that the king is hearing none of it. It is because he is able to pay his soldiers. He is able to pay his police. He is able to give petrol to all the vehicles that must go and kidnap ordinary protester. He is able to pay all and keep his power matrix together. We must cut the oxygen with which it gives life to this oppressive machine in whose hands is a despot called King Mswati the Third, whose hands are full of blood. So in our view, shutting borders would be one of those efforts. And as I have said, the only thing that must be allowed is medicine as well as a food. All other things, they must be shut down. And we're working around the clock to engage with TUCOSWA, as I have hinted, as well as trade union movements in the region and across the globe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. School, can I check if Comrade Swanke is available now?
Comrade Mildos, I've lost him. He's still not available.
No, sir, it's all right. We are going to proceed. Can I check if there are any other questions? This will be the last round before we officially close the proceedings of the sessions. Those colleagues from the media can who need the statement as read by the Secretary General will certainly be able to send it to them. Any questions?
Hi, yes, this is a question from News 24. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please just introduce yourself and go ahead.
Thanks, my name is Lindsay Schutel. I'm with News 24. I was just wondering, with the members who have been appointed as PUDEMO's representatives in Eswatini, do you foresee that they'll be able to move freely and do their work on the ground as a pro-democracy movement, given that PUDEMO has had to function outside of South Africa for so long? I mean, outside of Eswatini in South Africa for so long. Thanks.
Thank you very much. SG, before you respond, can we check if there's any other last question? If you can't raise your hand, you can just unmute and go ahead. Okay, SG, looks like that's the only question we had in the second round. Please, you may go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Welcome, Chatel. Thanks for making time. And of course, your question. PUDEMO is and remain one of the major players inside the country, which organizes and mobilizes various communities and sectors. And we've been doing so for the last 38 years, as we celebrated our 38th anniversary on the 6th of June of July, this beginning of this month. We've never been legal in our existence. The country has always banned political parties, and indeed in 2008 proscribed further, in particular PUDEMO, and tried to criminalize and declare us to be terrorist entities. But we have continued to work and mobilize and work to mobilize and inspire our people to challenge this regime. And we do so very much alive of the dangers and risk it carries with. Of course, that has made us to bear the worst brand of His Majesty's government. If you look at the number of people who have died in police cells, if you look at people in exile, if you look at people who are behind bars as we speak. We have Comrade Amos Mbetsi, one of our own internationalists, who has been serving a long sentence in Mswati's jail and getting serious ill treatment, including being denied medical help or health as we speak. It's one of those battles we're still fighting with the family and together with the lawyers. We have been mobilizing various youth and building various organizations from time to time. And we're quite encouraged to see more and more MPs. It's not only the 3, by the way. We're having more MPs who are joining the call. We're seeing MP Mieni, Timothy Mieni, who comes from Nkilongo in the Eastern region. We have a number of other MPs, even the one in Lomahasha we were working with was moving from the front and choosing the people as opposed to the monarchy. We can only lobby more and more MPs to come out. The time to hide is over. All of us must take a lead and do our best to fight for change. Hiding and wanting some neutrality, nice, will not help. The issue is we're faced with a monarchy that has become an amoeba and a cannibal, not only to our economy, but mortgaging the future of our children. So it all throws a moral and a political duty and responsibility to every citizen. The role and the duty to bring change in this country does not necessarily fall solely and squarely in the shoulders of PUDEMO and progressives. It falls on the shoulders of all of us. And the calls from Facebook must be less and more practical action on all of us. We must creatively do the best possibly we can do to make sure that we defeat this regime the soonest. Thanks, Comrade Mandla, and everyone.
Thank you very much, HG. Before we close, I see there's a hand from Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. If there is a question, please do go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hadeb, and thank you very much to the Secretary General. My name is Mlungis Makanya, the president of PUDEMO. I just thought, having joined this briefing late, I must extend our gratitude to you, Prof, the SG, and the media for covering this briefing, but also to emphasize what the Secretary General was saying, that the shifting or the gravitation of the MPs towards the people's camp is something that comes as a result of the pressure from below. So it's actually the people and the struggles of the people in their respective constituencies that are making the MPs to realize that if they were to stand on the opportunity of re-election, they would have to align themselves with the people's call, but to also emphasize the need for solidarity and why the solidarity we're appealing for is crucial. If you look at the warrant of arrest for the MPs that are appearing now at the High Court, they were issued way back, but they were held in abeyance because there was a lot of solidarity and action. So obviously with the new sycophant in office, in the form of the new Prime Minister, he decided to do the bidding by giving the police a go-ahead to execute. We are not deterred. We have been in contact with those MPs even before they picked them up yesterday when the police were there. We are in contact with MPs Melane, and we want to say strength to them. We have just bailed 9 young people from Lomahasha, 2 of them being family relatives of the killed comrades who were brutalized and arrested yesterday. They were charged under the Public Order Act and for not wearing masks, something that carries a fine of only 100 Rand, but they were admitted to a bail of 1,000 Rand each. We are raising this issue to try and highlight the fact that there is also lawfare that is being waged in the country, where people are arrested for anything and everything, just so that they can instill fear. One teacher was arrested a few hours ago from the southern part of the region, taken to the central part of the country, Malkens. Her only crime was that she took a picture with her phone of the cattle that ran away when Mswati was loitering over the weekend. And the soldiers and the police took her all the way 110 kilometers, only for her to be made to pay a fine of 60 rand for allegedly using a cell phone while driving. So the brutalization of our people continues, but we are not deterred. We are, of course, concerned at the high incidence of COVID contraction in prison, because a lot of accused persons have not been able to appear because they are under quarantine. And it has affected the efficiency and the speed with which Comrade Mzwandile's led team is able to represent and secure the release of all the arrested comrades. But mine was just to pass our vote of thanks to the media for covering this press briefing and all those who have been involved in its organizing. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much, Comrade President, the President of PUDEMO, Comrade Mlungisi Makanya. We hope that you remain safe wherever you are, and we are grateful to hear your voice. And it was indeed a pleasant surprise that you were able to join us for this platform, and also to do a vote of thanks for us. I think both the SG and the President have closed the meetings. Mine is just to say that we will endeavor to ensure that we keep you informed from time to time. And those who might need more information, there are contact details on the media advisory that was issued to invite you to this meeting, and those who want obviously one-on-one interviews, possibly with the President, but also the Secretary General, please use those contact details. Certainly those will be arranged. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for joining us and all other comrades who took time to join. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Good day.